Hey, ladies! Welcome back. Hi, it's me, Josie, coming on live for the third of our three-part series. Today's day 3. It is the Pitfalls of Productivity. I'm so excited to share this with you. It's going to be a shorter lesson than the other two. Hopefully really actionable, maybe a little surprising. Kind of open your mind to some different concepts, some different ways of seeing how to leverage yourself the best. So let's dig in, shall we? I've got my fun board over here again in sunny San Diego on vacation making my arts and crafts projects. You can see I've entitled this Productivity Pitfalls, the Perils of Productivity. How can this be possible? It is socially accepted, widely regarded as a wonderful trait to be productive. We all love feeling productive. We say, "How was your day?" "It was great. I was really productive." So what could I possibly be meaning when I talk about the pitfalls of productivity? What could possibly go wrong with being productive? Well, my lady, I have got 4 tactical tips of how I see women, how I've seen myself fall into some stinking thinking that has me swirling and churning and being all about the do and not enough about the think. And I'm going to share them with you today. If you're joining me live, come on in and say hello. Let's engage with one another, shall we? If you're on replay, that works too. Give me a hashtag replay. These videos will be live inside the group until the end of the month. I am going to continue to post in here, giving you eye-opening content. I've got lots of things stacked up, so don't run away. There's lots more good things coming. Are you ready now for, Hola Maria, nice to see you. Yay, I've got a friend in the group. Often many of my current clients join these trainings, which makes it feel like home. So welcome, come on in, say hi. All right, peeps, you ready? The 4 pitfalls of productivity. Are you ready to dive in and see what this could possibly be? I know the suspense is probably killing you. Okay, so here's my arts and crafts project. We're going to reveal them one by one. Hopefully it won't all come tumbling down. Are you ready? Number 1 is what I'm calling dopamine addiction. All right, let's get this thing going. What is dopamine? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's actually one of the quote-unquote happiness hormones. It's something that we all have that flows in our brain, and it's often called the reward chemical. Sorry, I'm struggling a little bit with my low-tech budget option here. Okay, so dopamine is a neurotransmitter that flows in our brain. It is often called the reward chemical, the reward hormone. Our brain gets a little spurt of dopamine when we accomplish a task. So when we are busy and ticking and tying things off of our list, when we're feeling really productive, we are swimming in dopamine. When we are multitasking, dopamine. When we are doing self-care activities, dopamine. I always feel like when I floss and shave, I'm feeling like I'm on top of the world, right? Taking care of business, getting things done, feeling like I'm taking forward progress and getting to-do lists done. So what could possibly be wrong with flowing in dopamine? It's that we can overdo it. If you can imagine what it's like to be multitasking all day, every day, to have to-do lists that have to-do lists within them. If you can imagine swirling and burning and churning and double, triple timing all of your things that you're processing, constantly being the to-do maven, you get a little crazy. You come home and you don't look like yourself. You're a little bit hair on fire, and your partner, your spouse, your roommate, your cat look at you like, "What happened to you?" It's because you have been hyper multitasking on overdrive, like swirling and churning so much that you're spinning like a top, and it does make you a little bit crazed. Raise your hand if you can recognize that type of experience. When you feel just almost completely tapped out. dry at the well because you have been overdoing, double doing, multi triple tasking doing all day for many days. The challenge with this type of productivity, the pitfall is, I'm going to try to paint this picture for you. If you start splicing your energy off and you're doing this thing and then you're doing that thing and then you're doing the other thing and then you're doing all the things like spinning plates, you've got every ball in the air and you're juggling. The pitfall is over time, you become so focused externally on all of the things and staying busy and being in this highly stimulated state that you lose touch deep inside with what's fulfilling or meaningful or valuable to you. You can almost create this alter ego of yourself, the work version of you that churns and burns and is on the hamster wheel all day. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember a movie, I think from the 80s, called Broadcast News. This is really going back in time. And the character played by Holly Hunter was this, icon. She was like this version of the 80s workaholic woman who never could tune into herself. And she was that version that I'm explaining of like constantly thinking and doing and processing and being in action all day, every day, that she would only give herself 5 minutes a day. Does anybody remember this? To actually unplug her landline. She had the old phone with the curly cord. She'd unplug it and sit and cry. Because those are the 5 minutes she could give herself to know that nobody would be ringing her phone, to allow for herself to have a feeling and to feel the overwhelm and to let it just wash over her, and it would come as an overwhelming emotion, as it would when she's that tapped out, as tears. So she would just cry her eyes out for 5 minutes a day, every day, plug her phone back in, dry her face, and then get on with it. That's the hazard of being in this state of always, always doing. It's like you become this rabbit scurrying without a thought or a feeling to your true self. So this actually can lead to a very disorienting experience, a very alienating experience where you actually don't know how you feel. Now, I have a client that I'm working with currently who lives in New York City and is in a very big job. She's the GM for a startup. She's doing all the jobs. They're looking to make $25 million this year with only 2 employees. You can imagine how busy she is. And all of our coaching sessions are me helping her tap in to her true wisdom of feeling, because she's lost the capacity, just temporarily, to know her own heartbeat, to know her own yes and no, to understand what feels good and what feels bad. Her default mode is just to stay in action. She would prefer to attack her to-do list and work from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day than have to face the uncomfortable emotions that are there that she's become disconnected to. That's a very extreme example of how detached we can become. But if you're some form of this being all do because you like being productive, chances are you're not eating well enough. You're overstimulating yourself with afternoon frappuccinos and Diet Cokes. You're not sleeping well, probably because of the caffeine and the stimulation. And you may not be exercising and being as healthy in your body as you wish to be. And this can lead to the cortisol stress response, which packs on pounds. So as we get older and our body chemistry does other things, while we're feeding it dopamine and cortisol, we get heavy. So there are lots of hazards to being in this hyperproductive mode that's unexamined. Am I selling this hard enough to you that you need to take some breaks, that you need to breathe, that it's not always all good to be productive? Who's here live? Let's hear from you. Hi, Irene. Nice to see you. And Maria says, I need to watch the. Oh, I can't quite see your comment. Um, I need to watch that. So me. Meaning that you can relate to this. Okay, we'll take it a little bit deeper. I will say that dopamine feels good. It feels super good to get everything done on your to-do list. It feels super good to delete an email. It feels super good to clear out your desk. It feels super good to do these things. Dopamine is a feel-good hormone. But we can get attached to that feeling and then be sort of seeking that stimulation rather than having more of a balanced experience of occasionally disconnecting from the doing to have a deeper, more fulfilling, more personal, more emotionally connected experience. Does that make sense? I'll give you another movie. Anybody see The Social Experiment, the movie about the experience that like teens have, how they get addicted to their devices, especially gaming? The roots of that addiction are in here as well. That when we are scrolling and scanning and looking for likes on our Instagram or comments on our posts, when we see the little, the bell ring or that somebody commented or liked something that we posted, that gives us a little dopamine hit too. So in this way, we start to become distorted in our sense of validation, looking externally for that thumbs up, for that like, for that comment, for somebody else to give us that stimuli. So it's a little bit tricky, that kind of productivity. Let's keep moving, shall we? Please bring some comments in. I'd love to hear how this resonates for you. Okay, number 2 out of 4. The second pitfall of productivity is that your old patterns of being productive will not serve you when you need new solutions. So those of you who are on the call, I see 2 of you already who have been recently up-leveled to higher level positions. Here's the hazard. If you hold on to the old patterns of being a doer, of that person who just rushes in to take care of business because you know how to do things and it feels good to get it done, you are not allowing for the new patterns that need to be developed to problem solve at a higher level. It's not scalable for you to continue to just dive in and do all the work, solve all the problems, answer all the email, do all the PowerPoint presentations, weigh in on all of the challenges, write all the agendas. You can't keep doing that as you rise up. You cannot scale yourself that way. So if you've created this pattern and even this identity for yourself as the doer, the creator, the work processor, you'll find yourself at a loss when you're at higher levels and you need to solve more strategically for how the workflow gets done, how the whole ecosystem works, how to leverage other people, how to mentor other people, how to get results through systems and processes, not just yourself. So the longer you stay attached to being productive, the longer you delay the process of attaining the skill set that you need to level up. This is like yesterday where I talked about the conductor of the orchestra that plays no instrument. She cannot be tempted to run down to the violin section, pick up an instrument, and start playing. She needs to use that disciplined resolve to not swoop in, to not do what she knows how to do well, even if it's satisfying, even if it feels productive, because she's got to learn how to hold a different space and solve a new problem at the new level, which is conducting all of the musicians, not being an individual contributor, not just being a sole player. So the challenge here is for you to stop doing so much, stop feeding that fire, taking time instead to think and strategize and plan. The challenge here is at first it might feel like laziness, like you don't feel comfortable not being in action doing all the time because it's a real learned pattern that you've adopted over time. You might even have judgments about managers who are, as I say, clean hand managers. Like they're not in the dirt, they're not digging, they're not getting stuff done. You might have some biases to overcome about the merit of being a worker bee. You might have to reform your concept as the queen bee and allow other people to be in service of your ability to have bandwidth. Let them be taxed, let them work hard so you can think and strategize. It's really challenging if you're somebody who likes to be in there with the team and always participating and pulling your own weight. Does that resonate for you? Let's see if there are any comments. You know that whoops, I just paused that for a quick second. Are we still live? You know that I do love to hear from you, so let's hear your comments here. So Maria Carolina says, my true self feels forced. Well, we could talk about that, how you find your authentic self. And Irene is like, yes, my new role feels forced and it takes so much effort to focus on moving things forward. Maria's like, that's exactly the position that I'm in. So you're needing to find your new way of being you in this job, right? You're almost like shedding the old skin, the old layer of who you used to be as an individual performer, as a high achiever, a contributor, somebody who proved herself and was always striving for results. There's this new way that we need to find that feels very uncomfortable at first. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that you haven't found ease yet in this new identity. Maria says, conducting instead of doing feels uncomfortable. It is important to slow down and notice the change and the positive experience of having others help me. Right? I love that you guys are all sharing this because you can see how this collectively is a challenge for those of us who really value being in action. We like getting results. We like the merit badge that we feel like we get when we are producing. So, but this is our learning edge. Can you feel that? Can you feel how there is opportunity for you to grow a new skill set? If you can imagine a leader either in real time, like somebody that is in your life or that you can witness, maybe they're famous, maybe they're on TV, maybe they're a political leader or a religious leader, or somebody that's in your life that you see that you admire. Think of a leader that you look to and think, yeah, she has got it going on. I think that is a beautiful, exemplary demonstration of heart-centered leadership. Like I admire her. And if you can't think of anybody in real life, you can think of a historical figure, somebody that you admire. Hey, just for fun, why don't you, if you can think of that person, why don't you type in the comments below who that person is, who you admire. Because what I'll challenge, as you're thinking about that, I'm going to take a little sip of water here. I'm a little hoarse today. I will challenge you to consider that when you're admiring those qualities in that leader, you're not thinking, I love how harried and busy she seems. She seems like she gets all of her own work done and accepts no help from anybody else. You're not saying that, right? You're not saying, I love how worker bee she is and how overtaxed and multitasking she is. No. I betcha that what you're valuing is her ability to rise above, not through conceit or ego, but her ability to have the wherewithal, the consciousness, the emotional intelligence to manage herself so that she can kind of have the 10,000-foot view, not be down in the weeds. In fact, the reason you know who she is because she has that quality. Those of us who stay really close to the ground, always scurrying and hurrying, always trying to churn and burn, always trying to get ahead by staying close to the work, we're actually not We're not rising up to even be seen and known at higher levels. Does that resonate for you? Does that make any sense whatsoever? If you have resistance to this, it just means that you probably need some personal coaching. Like, how do you inhabit your new role in an authentic way? How do you find your new level of leadership? Are you tracking me? Does that all make sense for you? I'd love to see a comment come through because I accidentally hit the end button and I don't know if we're still live. So, but I'm going to carry on. I'm going to take us to point number 3 and we'll continue this conversation. Sound good? All right, moving down, 3 of 4. The next peril of productivity is that your ineffective behavior can be underscored and propagated and continued if it's unexamined. So this is a little bit of a concept. I want to take you on this journey. Are you ready for this one? We all have deep-seated triggers, areas that we feel inherently defensive about because we're human. There's a very long named theory that I use to train many of my clients. You don't need to know all of it, but just for sake of attribution, it's not my theory, I want to attribute it. It's called the Fundamental Interpersonal Relations Orientation Theory, or FIRO theory. And it states that when we feel exposed or stressed or triggered or vulnerable, we react and respond defensively in one of 3 ways. Things that we want to protect, and that we each feel all 3 of these to some degree, but that we have a preference for one of them. I'm not going to go really deep here, but just go with me if you will. We all want to feel liked, significant, and competent. Those of you gals who are inside my Completely Confident Leadership group, this is Module 4. It's coming. I see some of you. And the idea behind this is that we fear being rejected, being ignored, or being humiliated. Right? I'm sure that can resonate for you without a lot of deep dive in this concept. That we want people to like and accept us. We want to be included and significant. We don't want to be ignored. And we want to feel competent and like we're on top of things, that we're not embarrassing ourselves or humiliating ourselves. Now, when we are fully tasked out and always busy, when we're only thinking about the tasks in front of us and all the stuff that we have to do, and we're just do, and we're not think, we're not feel, we're just in action, almost unconsciously on overdrive. Those soft spots that we're protecting, the desire to be liked, significant, and competent, they will be continually supported by our unconscious behavior because we're not giving ourselves time to understand our deep-seated triggers, the motivators that are beneath some of our react-respond behavior, and it reinforces bad habits. Are you following me? This is really maybe quite complex, but you gals are smart. I'm sure you can follow me. So if you have this deep-seated desire, like me, my preference is for competence, is to not make a mistake, not reveal some fatal flaw, not blow it, not mess up in a meeting, not say something stupid, not stutter in a public speech, not all of the things that you feel like could potentially humiliate you. If that's your trigger and you're just busy all the time, your unconscious behavior when you're being busy will just continue to buttress that fear, and you'll be operating to protect that part of you that you're not open to being curious about, to growing, to being more capable of integrating. to be more emotionally intelligent with. You'll be reacting and responding to not feel the tension that is there and overworking to avoid feeling that pain. Are you following me? So when we're in action mode constantly on hyper overdrive and we're on unconscious doing, we're not developing any other skills, some necessary growth for us to become less triggered, less reactive, and become more in our creative power by understanding what motivates us. How does that sit with you? This is something that I work with a lot of my clients with. I've mentioned before the voicemail, the voice walkie-talkie system that I have with my clients, where when they're triggered, they have the ability to reach out to me and get feedback or ask for a quick assist on how to reframe or regain their composure and come back to their emotional balance. It's not a crutch that we'll use forever. Like, I'm not going to be, constantly on the 911, because my clients won't need it after they learn the skills to be able to recognize their triggers and then minister to them and self-correct. Are you following me? All right, gals, let's see what some of your icon leaders are. Maria Carolina says, our VP of Safety and Talent Acquisition, she is always on the go, but truly genuine. She took her shoes off and spoke to over 100 women in the trucking industry. Wow, that's really cool. Irene says, I've been working to delegate and hold firm on expectations of me. Though during this transition period, I've had team members out and one person that tends to challenge me when I ask for specific tasks. Yes, Irene, we can talk about that. I think one of the most challenging aspects of being rapidly promoted in leadership is suddenly being put in a position to manage people that knew you before that may or may not accept or embrace your authority, especially if they're sort of problem employees. And you and I can talk about that because we're in relationship. Maria Carolina is saying her taking her shoes off made the whole crowd feel as if she was a close friend. Yes, that authenticity comes from emotional vulnerability, from being able to integrate your triggers and feel like I can handle my soft spots. I can share more transparently who I really am. And I can manage my emotions, my most distressing emotions, even when I'm public speaking. That's a beautiful demonstration, Maria. Okay, so partly what we're talking about here is that if you're always in action and you're not open to being more emotionally vulnerable and coping with your own distressing emotions and having some bandwidth to attend to your whole self, that you will just continue to underscore your ineffective, your less effective reactive behavior, because you're working from a triggered place, not from a self-aware, self-managed place. Shall we go on to the last one, ladies? All right. So the last peril of productivity is that it steals the ability for others to grow. When you hold on to the tasks that you're expert in, when you continue to be the default doer of your area of expertise, when you continue to hold on to those lower rung tasks even as you layer up in the organization because you think it's meritorious, because you feel like doing the work has value and gives you status and esteem and makes you feel like you're contributing, the sneaky thing is you are actually not giving newer employees, more junior employees, other people the opportunity to grow by learning how to do what you know how to do second nature. Do you feel me? So this is particularly for the newly rapidly ascending promoted employee. You actually need to stop being so damn productive. Stop getting 190 things done just because you think you can, just because you feel good about all the dopamine that you get by accomplishing the tasks so that you can raise everybody's boat by rising the tide, by sharing your thought process, your know-how, your perspective, your expertise. That's the effort that you'll want to be channeling. It's more educating and bringing other people along and inspiring and talking and motivating the masses rather than head down getting the job done. Do you see the difference? It doesn't feel as productive to not be doing the thing and just be talking, right? Sometimes we really downgrade that. We think, well, what did I do today? All I did was talk all day. I was just in meetings all day, right? Like we almost downsell that as a meaningful contribution. But really, when we are enabling a wider audience to benefit from our expertise, our vision, our inspiration, our direction, our education, our training, when we're casting that out to more than one person, we're scaling our ability to get work done. We're rising everybody else up. This is the sneaky one that sometimes has you feel like, but I like doing all that stuff, and I'm not sure who I am when I'm not being the doer anymore. How does that one strike you, ladies? Does that challenge you? Do you feel any rebuttal? Sometimes you might say, well, there is no one for me to delegate to. And that's a challenge that we could work on. Do you need to pitch that you need more resource in the form of a temp, an admin, another person on the headcount roster? Do you need to stop doing and evaluate the workflow if if your job requires you to be in action all day, every day with no time to think, you will not be strategic. There's no time or room for that. So is that really what the leadership of your company wants you to do? And if you're in charge, is that really the smartest use of your time? Tell me what you think. I'd love to see your comments. Okay, so all of this in these past 3 days have been like ways for you to open up and see your sense of overwhelm as potentially solved in surprising, sometimes simple, sometimes complex ways that you might end up choosing an easier path. You might decide, I don't like this experience of being overwhelmed, so I want to change my circumstances. I want to opt out, lean out, downgrade, demote. I want it easier. That is possible, and indeed, I have had a few clients who have made that decision. But my counsel to you is you don't want to do that out of a reaction, out of just feeling like you've got no other course of action you can take except eject because you can't think and your hair's on fire. The much stronger career move is for you to consciously contemplate all of the options before you, all of the skills that you can grow in, all of the ways that you can learn new skills to manage other people and manage yourself, and then decide, do you want to take an easier option, or is this job actually potentially right for you? You just needed to learn how to do it differently. Okay, ladies, this is the time now where I'm going to share with you how you take it to the next step. Because I'll be honest, listening to a set of training like this has merit, and I want to inspire you. I want you to learn things. I want you to know things. I want it to feel like you got good value out of your time spent with me. But really, for you to take conscious action that embeds new skills, I'm inviting you to join Completely Confident Leadership, my group coaching program, where my over 30 years of leadership development, I've hired, trained, mentored, managed, promoted thousands of leaders in my career, and I know the challenges that they face, and I have codified and formulated structures for each type of leadership challenge inside our leadership lessons area. I call it the modules. It's our private, forever accessed leadership lesson group, where just today I had a woman reach out to me who started in completely confident leadership something like 2 years ago. She needs to do a public presentation, so she's going to listen to the executive presence module again to prepare her speech. So these are modularized lessons that give you a framework for how to do things. I had another client who's still part of my alumni group reach out to me. She's having difficulty dealing with kind of a hostile, toxic, dominant personality. And I redirected her to a module to remind her where her resources were. She can listen to the framework on how to deal with dominant people. So I believe everything that you need is inside Completely Confident Leadership, but not just as a podcast, not just to listen to, but to get coached on, for you to be able to bring your thoughts forward and say, okay, but here's my situation. This is what's challenging for me. You'll learn the lesson, but you want to have help integrating it in your particular personality, set of circumstances, situation. That's the power of having both a lesson, like a consult, and coaching, personalized attention blended together. All of my clients have a personal leadership assessment that helps me show them their internal operating system, how you roll, how you get results, where you're best suited, where you're least suited, and how to leverage that. It's not StrengthsFinder, it's not Myers-Briggs. It's a really cool leadership assessment tool that I've been certified in that few people know about, but it's so illuminating and it's so empowering to see how you can leverage your strengths even further to get results. So that's something that's really cool about this too. We have the best community. A lot of the gals that are in my current Completely Confident Leadership group, I see them popping in today to get some extra learning. Lovely to see you gals. We have a private Facebook group where I go live every week to explain what lessons are on. And women can come in there and ask questions, can unblock their own challenging situations by using the hive mind, and there's nothing like it. Okay. Before we go too long, you just got to go over here to www.joleader.com/apply. It's my website that shows the complete program, and at the very top it says book a call. The first step is I'm calling you forth. I want you to book a call. If you've joined these lessons and they've resonated for you, I want to meet you. It's a big joy for me in this community. I'm like this one-way broadcast. I love feeling connected. It's important for me to know what's meaningful for my community. So when I meet with you, it's a two-way street. I get to hear your story and what you're struggling with, and I get to learn more about what my community benefits from and the lessons and what they're taking away. At the end of that call, if we decide it's a match, if it's a good match for you to join Completely Confident Leadership, we can onboard you and get started immediately. It's a 5-month experience with us launching July 7th. So you got to get in now so that we can get your leadership assessment done and get you access to the lessons and get going. Who's in? Go to www.joleader.com/apply, book a call with me. You'll see my calendar. We can meet one-on-one. We can discuss your personalized situation. We can discuss finances, and if you want to pay in full or do a payment plan. If you haven't invested in yourself in a very long time, say since college, it might feel new, but girl, it is not indulgent, and you absolutely deserve to have this support, this type of learning and background, this kind of consult, this mentorship that I can provide you that maybe your boss isn't. This private, supportive community that also isn't your boss or your peer, that can help coach you and guide you as you navigate the tricky waters of whatever it is that you're going through to up-level your career so that you can enjoy it and have more fun. The whole goal is for us to be able to manage ourselves and our stressful circumstances so much better that we can have hobbies again. We can be present when we come home from work. We can enjoy our kids, our cats, our hobbies, our sleep. That's what it's all about, girls. Okay, So, some of the bonuses that are involved is, I've mentioned this before, it's my secret weapon. Many of my clients are enjoying it now. It's this wonderful app called Voxer that you download for free on your phone, and you have instant, immediate access to me for a 911 share, a voice or text share about something that's stressing you out, to get immediate coaching, to make good on an accountability challenge that maybe we agreed upon in a coaching call where I called you forth to try a new skill and you give me feedback on how it goes. It's just lovely to have a mentor in your corner, that's me, who is there to support you and guide you, who knows you and can give you quality coaching, even in small tidbits from voice and text messaging. It's amazing how effective it is. I think it's my secret weapon. You'll also learn how to become an effective public speaker. Who doesn't want better speaking skills? Whether it's answering a question in a meeting, being on a Zoom call, or fronting up at a podium, standing and delivering to thousands of people. I am also a public speaking coach, and I share my skills and my training with all of my clients through an interactive workshop. How cool is that? You want to be a good public speaker? And then the last bonus is my lovely alumni who have already graduated from Completely Confident Leadership join this weekend call that happens every weekend, same time, same Zoom link, to take the lessons deeper, to polish their leadership, to have a private supportive community, to sounding board the issues that they experience as leaders, as women working. And as you are a student, you're welcome to join those calls as well. So that's what you get, but really what I want to talk about is how you up level. Like, it's not about the features of a program that you're buying. What I'm telling you is you deserve to feel the freedom and the ease of knowing that you're getting the support, you're getting the training, and you're getting lessons that are going to unblock you from these unhelpful tendencies and these stressful cycles that you've probably been coping with for a very long time. So I really want to call you forth. You are ready. If you've been listening to these trainings and they resonate for you, why wouldn't you want to invest in yourself so that you can up-level your skill set and your career? Your boss might even subsidize your participation. We can talk about that when you book a call, but many of my clients will take the invoice and pivot and bring it to their HR team and get reimbursement for either all or partial of the course. How much is it? You want to know? It's a 5-month experience, and if you pay in full, the simplest, least expensive option is less than $500 a month. I think it's outstanding value for to get all of this coaching, all of this learning, all of this support, and lifetime access to the lessons. So please, as we finish this 3 days, do yourself the honor and let's connect by having you come on to www.joeleader.com/apply. You'll see everything there, and you'll see a button that says book a call. You can get on my calendar and we can meet tomorrow, soon. This group will be live through the end of the month. We launch the next Completely Confident Leadership cohort in July. Let's get you in there. That's it from me now. Bye, gals.